And we're back. Yes, actually, I agree. Isaac Haxton would be another one that would be on that list for me, and Scott Seaver, I think, is probably a guy that would be on the list. Um, he's another guy that I think has really interesting thought patterns about the game. Jen does not agree that you should have 5 minutes of her chatting now. Alrighty, we're back in again. We are less than 10 big blinds, and I think that we have to play aggressively to Volv's raise. So I think we're going to shove here and draw our jack and hope for the best. Well, no, we're going to wait and see what Volv does, and we might actually pad our jack depending on what Volv's draws are if Volv calls through on us. I don't know that he calls the 3-bet shove very often. I think his raise could easily be wider than he wants to call the 3-bet shove on, but his stack is such that he doesn't really have the chips. Wow. See, stack management wise, he probably should not be open folding there. I wouldn't think with with that he's got 9 big blinds. He really shouldn't be open folding with 9 big blinds. You wouldn't think, but then he probably shouldn't be min raising to open in that spot either. So it kind of started badly right from the start for him, I think. Nor should he be limping in this stage. But I don't think with the Queen 10-8 we're going to necessarily want to get involved still with him. But I'm not sure that I'm happy with his play. We're down to 1,788 people left. 770 are paid. We'll probably be close to the money by the end of this hour. Maybe in the money, maybe not. It depends. It's hard to say. Things are going to go up pretty quickly now, so I think that people are going to be dropping off pretty fast. We're sitting 1335th, which means we're not in great shape, but as people bust, that changes fairly dramatically. So we can certainly end up very close to a paying spot from where we are. Like we'll fold the ace, ace, queen, jack, 3 hearts. You'd kind of like to see that if you're playing 5-card draw, but I actually have a Brian Rast, Scott Seaver, Phil Locke story that I can tell. It's one of my only poker stories where I get to drop names. And it's not even really one where I was particularly involved, but it's still one that I can tell because I was there. So it's it's one of those stories. Last year when I was at the WPT Montreal, playing some of the early tournaments before the WPT actually started, that was where they ran the Premier League for 2013. Was at the WPT Montreal. So there were all the Premier League guys were there, and every day they were having Premier League matches. set up on a big stage in the middle of the poker room with, it was kind of done up with all the lights and all the TV stage stuff. And then there's poker tables all around, um, the stage, and people playing side events to the big WPT festival. Um, so I'm sitting there playing a $60 buy-in tournament at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon or noon or so, when the Premier League guys start to kind of roll in for their start of their day. I think they went on at 3, and then they were playing through to like 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes to finish their days off. Very long days for them. But they'd filter in around 3 or so, and they'd kind of hang out at a table in the back that was roped off where they could, have some food and, chat and joke and have their fun and stuff. And so we're playing at the table, and we're just having our fun, and the Premier League guys are filtering in, and they're sitting down at this table having their having their dinner, and we can see them sort of. This is Phil Locke and Brian Rast and Scott Seaver, just kind of sitting there together in a group, huddling and kind of looking over at our table and chatting and pointing and chatting a bit more and eating a bit more, and kind of looking over at the table. Um, and about 10 or 15 minutes later, the three of them come walking over to the table, and they point at one of the guys sitting at our table. Now, this guy has been holy crap, that was a nice 4-card draw that we just made. This guy has been is always at the playground poker events that I've been at. He's very recognizable. He has an electronic cigarette that dangles out of his mouth all the time. He wears a cap and headphones all the time, and when he's not in a hand, he's up behind his chair dancing to whatever it is that's on his headphones. So he's very recognizable. Everybody sees him. Everybody has known him. And so these three guys, Rast, Locke, and Seaver, come over. They've apparently made a prop bet for $50 on how many songs this guy has on the iPod that he's listening to on his headphones. And in preparation for this big $100,000 Premier League buy-in match that they're about to do, they are hyper interested in who's going to win the $50 bet over how many songs this random dude at a $60 poker tournament has on his iPod. So it's one of my well, it's my only cool poker story, but it's my cool poker story about Brian Rast and Scott Seaver and Phil Locke. It really is about the gamble for them. It's not really about the money for them. It's about the gamble, because it was, the $100,000 heat that was coming up. It was not nearly as interesting as the $50 bet they had on how many songs the guy had on his iPod. And yes, going back up through the chat, I agree with you. That thing with he can't be doing that with his stacks. I don't know what the heck he's doing with his stack management, but it's not good stack management, I don't think, with our friend Volve. If you hear weird noises, I am drinking a slush, so there will be weird straw noises that don't make sense coming into my microphone sometimes, just for the record. Ooh, 3 9s. 3 9s. Can we switch to 5-card draw now? Folding, folding, folding. You could draw 2 to the 84 here. But I don't necessarily think that's something that we need to do at this stage in that early a position. We're just under 15 big blinds, but in a minute, blinds are going to go up to 4,000, so we'll be just over 10 big blinds at that point. We're going to need to keep moving to keep ourselves in contention here, but we're definitely getting there. I mean, there's 1,554 left, so we're about double the number of cashers now, 770. A little bit more than double the number of cashers. I am much preferring the streaming now that I've got a wireless headset to play with. It's a lot more fun when you don't have a cord dangling off your head. I'm going to get rid of the Jack 10. Let somebody else get involved. I mean, I had obviously odds to get in there, but I suppose I'm drawing 2 to the 5, 6, 7, but I'm also drawing to the diamonds and the straights, and it just doesn't feel right. Yeah, agreed. Agreed, Hammer. It's about the fun of play. That's why I play a lot of micro stakes tournaments. I mean, I'm never going to get rich playing $1 sit and goes or 50-cent sit and goes or 25-cent sit and goes, but it's fun, and it's an inexpensive hobby that keeps my brain engaged and keeps me thinking and keeps me learning new things and thinking about new strategies and new ways to do things. So yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Thank you for the permission to slurp. I shall do just that. I will slurp away. Alrighty, so blinds are up to 200, 400. We are under 10 big blinds now, which means we need to do things. This would be the hand, I think, that when if it was folding to us, I still think it doesn't matter. I think we're shoving this and drawing one of our 4s and hoping for the best. So after the next blind round, we're down to like 7 big blinds, and that's just pretty dangerous territory at that point. And we pick up blinds plus an extra big blind. coming around. So we could do the same thing here, shove and expect to draw our ace jack. I don't think it's as good of a situation as it was before. Obviously, drawing two to drawing one. There's a lot of reasons, but I think it's foldable there. Yeah, dealer's choice after looking at your cards. Yeah, that might be fun. That'd be a bit of an insane game, I think. But it would depend on who got to choose. Well, I guess the dealer got to choose, of course. But 1463 left. So with 770, we are below the double pay mark. So we're getting there. People are going to be going out pretty quick here. I think medium stacks, stacks bigger than mine are still going to think that they're kind of small and are going to be shoving in spots that they shouldn't necessarily be shoving. So, yeah, actually, I've been trying for tickets to the billion. I got some school pass tickets that I'm using to play for tickets into the billion. I've already busted one sat into the billion, but I got pretty deep. It's they're tough. The one that I was playing, there's 6,000 people in the tournament, and they're giving away 10 tickets to the 109. So I mean, it's a pretty tight field. But I think I was down to the final 150 or 200. I think so. I was pretty happy with that. And you know, one thing goes differently, and you never know what happens. It is way out of my bankroll. I'm definitely trying on sats when I can. Um, I'll probably play some. I'm also going to do. I was going to say I was going to do some steps and maybe get a ticket that way, but I don't think there's a $109 step. I think it's yeah, no, it's like a $76 step and then a 215, I think, from there. I'll have to have a look at that again, but yeah, I'm certainly not going to pay $109 to enter it. That's out of my bankroll, but I will play some sats for sure. It's pretty insane that they're talking about the billionth tournament on PokerStars, though. I mean, it's a pretty astonishing number for tournaments. Well, in fact, if you've got any school pass stuff from your activities in the poker school online, um, I hate to put it this way, but the school pass satellite that I played to get a ticket into the actual satellite for the $109 tickets for the 10 $109 tickets was super weak. Now the actual satellite that was for the 10 by 109 wasn't all that weak, but the pass one to get into that was soft as hell. I thought. Yeah, I'll definitely be looking at the big 220 uh, then to play. That's one that's in my bankroll that I play on a fairly regular basis. A final table at once a few months back, maybe last year. I think maybe it was a year ago now. Um, but yeah, I'll certainly play some of those. I probably shouldn't be limping there, but I think that my shoving is probably going to get. I was going to say my shoving might have gotten bothersome to people, but I think I've moved tables now again. I should really pay more attention to the people that are at my table because well, we don't have the nuts, but it sure smells nutty around here. So I think we're I think our best value is just to throw all the chips in the pot and hope people call us at this point. Yep, and he called us, and we've got a decent stack now. Yeah, I think I'll stream that if I get into the billion. I think if I get into the billionth, I'll probably stream, even though it's Hold'em. I'll probably break my anything but Hold'em rule that one time and stream the billionth. That would make some sense. I mean, it's just the thing. I would hate to be sitting at the final table going, "Fuck! I wish I'd started streaming this thing 18 hours ago." Excuse my language. Um, so I think if I played it, I think I'd have to start streaming off, just in case. Yeah, I think the $11 satellites would be worth doing. The 1 in 10 is a reasonable shot, I think. I think they're going to be relatively soft fields in the 11. For an 11, I think they're going to be a relatively soft field in that Sati. Um, and so, yeah, I think that might be worth a shot or two um, at as well. Yeah, I think it's definitely worth doing, Fad. I'm sure that you would get through at least the first round relatively easily, having watched you play and having been busted by you on more than one occasion. I'm sure that I'm sure that you do just fine in at least the first round, and you're probably going to do pretty good in the other one. Just bear in mind that you're getting into a tournament where it's going to be, 4 or 5 or 6,000 people, and um, only 10 only 10 tickets being given out. So it's a pretty small win window. Well, I have to say we drew pretty well into that hand. We threw away a queen and a three, and we got back, I believe, the nine and the seven in that. Could be the nine and the eight. And we lost, but I'm not hugely upset by that. I mean, I think that putting the value bet in there was probably the right thing to do um, there. Yeah, that was a pretty sweet draw, eh? I was just watching the hand on stream where I drew into the 76, so. This is definitely a shove spot. Draw the ace-king if we get called, but seems unlikely that we'll get called. That was definitely a spot that we needed to shove, though. Even though obviously our 5 cards were pretty bad, the 3-card hand that we're drawing into is reasonably strong. $12.41 left, 770 cashing. As I said, we're sitting 884th now after that last update. We could draw 2 into a 96 here, but I don't really think in this early a position we need to get involved there. Got to think Ronagrat's got a pretty strong hand there. Patting and then potting. Pat pot. That's a tough decision. But I think the right thing to do is shove under the gun and draw one of the 5s if we get called. So to give an idea of how close the games are, just taking those blinds moved me into 790th position. So it's really close in that time. Yeah, this is a hand we're getting rid of. I think we're check folding this pretty much all the time. I'm still surprised we don't see bigger turnouts in the PSO home game tournaments, Fad. I think it must be that not as many people know that they exist or something, because I would think that there'd be a lot more people jumping into those than we've tended to have seen. Blinds up in 13 minutes. We are at 2,500 now, which means we are just under 12 big blinds. I suppose the right move to make here would be to shove and try to pick up that extra bet there. But I think I'm actually gonna call and draw and go from there. I'm not sure I have a reason for why I chose to do that instead of shoving this hand, but maybe I had a feeling I was going to get called and the draw was going to go somewhat poorly. Seems unlikely that a queen is going to be good here. Even a queen 5, it seems unlikely that it will be good here. Yeah, it just seems unlikely that that's going to be good enough of the time to make that call profitable. So I probably would have had a better result had I shoved that one instead of calling behind. Nice lesson in why you act aggressively instead of acting passively. Run it up, Hammer. Run it up. Please, no one tell Jason Somerville's lawyers. I just used those phrases, that phrase on stream. He'll come break my mouse finger, and that wouldn't be fun. Alrighty, I think it's shove time. 10 big blinds. Under the gun +1 on a 7-handed table. And we're drawing to 76. Nobody seems to want to call our shoves, which is not a terrible spot to be in, frankly. If you're shoving your chips and people aren't calling you, that means you're collecting chips, and that's a good thing to have happen. It might mean I should start considering doing that more often. That said, I think that's going to get recognized pretty quickly on this table, and I'm going to start getting called. So the frequency with which I'm doing it now is allowing me to pick up the blinds when I need them to stay alive, and I think that's probably where it needs to stay for the time being. Yeah, it's really nice to see all the same old faces when we sit down to the PSO games, but it's nice to see some new ones come into those as well and get some new talent. Yeah, I'm just looking at this hand now where I had the 2-3-5-4-6 or 2-3-4-5-6, and you're right, I should have shoved it. Should have shoved it pre-draw, because as it turned out, I got pushed off of it when it was not something that needed to happen. If this folds around to me, I'm definitely shoving here. And it's probably a shove pat, but it depends on what I see Jack do if he calls through. King 10, I think I'm folding this. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I should have been all in on that hand, especially after watching on stream. Yeah, I wonder if he would have drawn as well. I mean, he might have folded out pre-draw. Um, so I think that's the argument. I mean, I think the queen is obviously beat. Well, I don't think obviously, but I think the queen is probably beat there. But if I shove that pre-draw, I don't know that that Bella calls after me. I'm more thinking that Mario, the original one in the pot, is the one that's going to call there. Ace, King, Queen, 10, Deuce. We probably don't need to get involved with that, frankly. Drawing 4 to the Deuce, I suppose you're technically drawing 4 to the nuts, but that's probably not the best place to be at a Deuce to 7 game. Jack takes it down with a second nuts on that hand. That was a pretty nice looking hand. Oh no, he didn't. He had a pair of threes. I thought he had I didn't see the second three in there. Still cool to see take down a pair of threes, beating a pair of fours. For not a huge pot, but a substantial one, 3,625 chips. Mr. Baptiste, S. Baptiste, I think does not understand the game deuce to 7 because pouting with a 5 to 9 straight is not a good move when you're playing deuce to 7. That is a very bad move, in fact. Oh, if I had cojones, I'd probably shove this, but I'm just gonna fold to the big blind and be a passive nit bitch weenie, I think, instead. 1,018 people left in the tournament. We are 796th at the moment, so we're coming up on the cashing mark. Less than 300 to go until we get into the money. Alrighty, we'll see you in a bit, Jen. I'm probably shoving this hand without the open by boar, but I think with the open by boar, even though it's just a limp, I just am not feeling right about the shove there. And that's really the only option I have at this point. I'm either shoving or folding. I'm not really. I think trying to call through and draw is probably not the situation that I want to be in with this stack at this point. Even though we're getting close to bubble territory. Alrighty, this looks like a shove pat sort of situation. 10, 9, 8, 3 deuce. I suppose if somebody behind us pats, we might have to rethink that strategy, but I think that we are shove patting most of the time with a 10, 9 here. Wow, no one wants to call our shoves. Gotta like that. Gotta love it when no one wants to call your shoves. Alrighty, we're down under 1,000 people left. 977 now. Of course, I don't know why I'm reporting that all the time. You guys can see that on the stream because the lobby is up on the stream as well. But I think it's a little small to be reading on a regular basis. So Jack claiming he had two pair on that last hand. Not a good deuce to seven hand. We're in cashing range now. 971 people left, 770 cash. We are 687th. I imagine we're going to drop relatively substantially after this next blind round goes through, unless we get a walk or take them down in some other form. Hey Roz, how's it going? Good morning to the Philippines. What time is it there right now, Roz? Thank you so much for rescheduling the tournament for us as well. I mean, we're just going to get away from this with the ace, king, queen, 9. Don't really think we need to be involved. Ace, queen, 10. Probably the same situation. Don't really need to get involved. King, 10, 8. We're getting closer to the area where we want to get involved. And in fact, if this folds to us, we probably shove on Jack. I'm guessing that Jack is going to start getting a little pissed off at the fact that every time it comes around to our button, we're shoving on him. I don't think it's technically true that I'm doing it every time, but I am doing it quite frequently. So I'm sure that one of these days we're going to get called. Fortunately, possibly fortunately, somebody else shoves in front of us, which means we have the fold option. That is quite happy. And it also means that it doesn't feel like we're always the one shoving on Jack when it's our button. Now I could draw ace set, or I could draw two to the 6-5-4 here technically. But I think the prudent course is to fold here and see what happens from. Let things watch out. Don't need to be involved in that. Queen 9. Wow, 550. I'm thrilled you got up for us. You got up for us, Roz. That's awesome. Looks like we'll be double tabling on the stream while I finish off the deuce to 7 here once the horse gets started. Fortunately, horse does not have a deuce to 7 component, which means it won't get terribly confusing, I don't think, between the two hands. There is nothing in horse that gives me 5 cards, so yeah, it shouldn't be terribly confusing, which is always nice. I was playing some Omaha high-low and some Badoogie side by side the other day. That is a bad idea, ladies and gentlemen, because you get 4 cards on both tables. They both look exactly the same, but you have to do completely different things with those cards. So yes, playing Badoogie and Omaha at the same time, bad idea. Very bad idea. At least I found it was a very bad idea. Well, good luck on hitting Silver Star, Roz. My $1.10 tournament will get you 0.55 VPPs on your way towards that Silver Star status. Well, the 5 and the 6 are nice. The ace, the king, and the king are pretty crappy. So I think we're just going to check that and draw 3 and see what happens. Jack, queen, deuce. So we're almost certainly check folding this. Obviously could try to bluff in a pot like this, I suppose. And, you know, the queen jack isn't always going to be behind, but it's going to be behind often enough that I don't think I'm going to make a profit with 1200. Haas, good to see you here. This is deuce to 7. So yes, hands are valued differently here. Rather than the normal poker game where you're looking for the best 5-card poker hand, in this game, we're looking for the worst 5-card poker hand, which means that the nuts here, or the best hand that you can play, is 7-5-4-3 deuce. Hence the name, deuce to 7. You get 5 cards dealt to you initially. There's a betting round. After that betting round, you can discard as many cards as you want and get that many cards in return. and you then have another betting round, at which point you have to show down your hands for anybody left in the left of the hand. It's pretty simple, and it's a lot of fun. There's not a ton of information about what other people are playing other than their draw pattern and their betting pattern. So it's a pretty tough game. There's a lot of people that consider deuce to seven single draw to be the purest form of poker because of the huge bluffing capacity in it. Um, with no community information, no community card information, no up card information at all. It's a lot of people consider it the purest form of poker. And I've heard that initially there was talk of the World Series of Poker main event being a deuce to seven event instead of a no limit hold'em event. Wouldn't that make the poker world a different thing? Anyways, it's good to see you here, Haz. If you're liking what you're seeing, we stream all sorts of different kinds of poker. As the title suggests, you'll see pretty much anything but hold'em here. So all the different kinds. Coming up soon, there's going to be a horse tournament, which has a little bit of hold'em in it. It's a limit hold'em phase. But it's 5 different games with limit hold'em, limit Omaha 8, limit Raz, limit stud, and limit stud 8. All played in a rotating succession. That'll be coming up at 3, so in about 7 minutes, side by side with the remainder of this deuce to 7 table that we're playing now, which is coming down to the money here pretty quick. And then later on tonight, we will be playing Raz in the Sunday Raz, starting at 9:20, or in about 6 hours and 20 minutes from now. Oh, 6-5-3. We could certainly draw. I think we need to do our shove thing again and draw King Queen to the 6-5-3. We knew we were going to get called with one of these eventually, so this might be our place. So we're going to discard our King Queen, I think, and hope for the best. We didn't get the best, but we got good. And we ended up doubling up, so we are almost certainly going to cash in this now. I should never say that in a no-limit tournament, but it looks good. I should probably want to be involved in this hand, and I think I will. 10-7 is not something that I'm really super thrilled with. But we're going to pat through 3-1, 2. I'm pretty comfortable with the 10-7 in this situation. Comfortable enough that I'm going to value a bit. Yeah, it was a good draw by Jack. Alrighty, so we are on break again. We've got our horse tournament starting up shortly, so I absolutely need to go take care of my custodial duties, and I will return in a few short minutes. Alrighty, we are back, and I was just timing out on my first hand back at the table. Let me get the stream set up so that you guys can see everything that's happening. Alrighty, so let's move over to our two-table format. Let's fold that. Alrighty, so there's that one. Let's put our weekly round 2 there. Let's put that lobby there. I'm just chatting to myself as I set the screen up here. Oh, that's the wrong game on the wrong side. That's still the wrong game. That's still the wrong game. We're going to call Anthony over there. I will get the stream set up eventually, I'm sure, everybody. Alrighty, so that one's right. The lobby is wrong for that one. Ready, you know what? I think I'm going to do this the easy way. Let us remove that. Remove that. Remove that. Remove that. So, our table on the left is going to be weekly round 2. There it be. Our table on the right will be the horse. Fold that. Ken is in. His name is Digicision. Of course, feature tables here are decided strictly by the fact that I am on the table or not when I'm streaming. After that, we'll make other decisions, but right, so bring up the lobby for weekly round 2. Get rid of that one. And now we want to bring up the lobby for the horse. Well, hey, there we go. We got everything that we're looking for. Alrighty, so we got 10 people registered in the horse this week. Ace 10, 7, 7. We could probably get involved with that, but we don't need to. We're getting close to the money over here on our deuce to 7, so I think we're gonna tighten up a little bit. Cool, there we go. We are set. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, Jen. Good luck, Ken. Good luck, Lane. Good luck, Anthony. Good luck, Josh Bowman, who is on the feature table. I think we're going to play the King, King, 5, 6 with the suits. We're going to see what happens with the flop and go from there. Drew pretty badly over on the deuce to 7 table here, so we're going to get out of the way there. Anthony is determined to raise every pot that we play. So we'll just see what happens. He's, of course, listening in on the stream as well, I'm sure. That worked out fairly well for us, I think. We've either got a set of kings or a set of 5s, depending on what we want to play. So there's no low hand on this pot. So we're pretty happy with our. There is a straight out there now, but we're still pretty happy with our 5 king. No, 5 king. We got 5s full of kings, so we're pretty happy with that situation. $818 left in the weekly round 2, which means we are just under 50 players away from the cash. Ace, King, Deuce, 8 with the nut hearts is obviously a hand that we want to get involved with on Omaha High-Low. We're still on the nut low. We haven't done much for our high, but we're definitely still on the nut low, so we're happy with that. Um, that does not do nice things for our low anymore, unfortunately. I think we need to get away from the hand now. I don't think we have enough value anymore. That 3 would have helped us. It gives us the ace 2 3 4 5. It's probably going to get split with another ace deuce 3 4 5 if we were in. Uh, yeah, yeah, we would have split with Josh if we'd have stayed in, but we probably should have. But when that deuce comes out, I hate to see that. The only way we're even anywhere near that pot is if the 3 comes on the river. Otherwise, we're losing everything there. So. Don't know what I was thinking so long on this table for. I've got the nut high, nut low. Well, not the nut high because the spades are out there, but I've got certainly got the nut low with the 4-5 at this point, and a pretty strong high hand. So I think I've got to be putting money in. Over here, that was unfortunate. We lost 10-7. Our 10-9 lost to a 10-7. Unfortunate, but I think we're calling there almost all the time, and I think most of the time we're probably winning given the patterns that came out. So I think we're definitely betting our 4-5 here. We're thrilled with our low. We were a little bit worried about spades coming through for the high, but taking down, scooping it is obviously a good result. So 22 people left to go in the, or sorry, 28 people left to go in the deuce to 7. Till we get to the money. 25 now. We are sitting 614th out of 795 with 770 cashing in the weekly round 2. Elrond did have all the kings and fives in that one hand. That was a nice flop for my hand, as they say. This is the sort of high-low hand that has a lot of potential. Deuce 4-6. I wish this was an 8 instead of a 9. Anthony does seem determined to raise every pot I go into today, which is fine. I mean, if that's what he wants to do. But yes, Ken, I did realize that I had a full house eventually. It took me a while to get there, but well, we're definitely not nuts, but we're pretty close to nuts here with the diamonds and the 4 deuce draw on the low. Anthony could absolutely be playing a better low draw than that. I think no, we didn't. I was going to say I think we just turned a straight flush draw, but we didn't. But I mean, I think we're certainly happy with our high and our low. So yeah, we're scooping that pot again. We'll fold this one. No low possibility, so. It's good to see Loopy Jen at the table here. That's the UK Hammer on our Twitch chat window, so say hello over there. She's on the feature table. She's one of our regular viewers. Wasn't able to join us last week because it was a bit too late for the UK time for Sunday night. But going to get rid of my pair of kings on the deuce to 7 table. That early position is probably not a hand that goes. Wazzy Beer is up top on our leaderboard right now, 2581. I'm sitting second with a 2485 now into the Raz portion. Lane's just getting used to a game before they change it on him, so he's a little bit disturbed by that, I think. And that's our winner from last week, out in 10th place, our first bust this time. Anthony, in fairness, was working, I believe, this week, so he probably was not 100% concentrating on what was going on. Yeah, a set of sevens is not a great place to be in a deuce to 7 hand, so we're just going to get rid of that and move on. 777 left, which means we're 7 away from the money. So we're going to play pretty tight. It's one of the reasons why I had Jen over today, so I have somebody who will order Chinese food for me later for the food. I would have been happy to share some of Anthony's chips with the rest of us, but he seemed intent on giving them to me. I'm sure that you'll get them from me as the tournament goes on. That's bound to happen as as time moves on, so don't worry about that. We are on the bubble over on the weekly round 2. Says 773 left, but I think they bubble these earlier than normal. 772 left now. So it looks like we're going to min cash our deuce to 7. Still 772 left, so it hasn't we haven't burst the bubble quite yet. I certainly could bet here. Looking at lane 64, thinking he's got to be reasonably strong. I think I'm getting out of this hand. I just don't look like I'm in very good shape here. All right, we got a small stack of 0 on the deuce to 7 lobby, which means we are down to 771 at the least, maybe 770. We might be in the money. Might be one more hand, hard to say. Definitely raising our 6 to the king, even though we got a king back. We don't care about the king there. Nobody can see it. Nobody knows it's there, and therefore we don't care about it. Three minutes left in the Raz phase, and we're moving to stud next, followed by stud 8. Obviously, that's a pretty crappy Raz hand. Pair of kings with a jack. No reason to get involved there, frankly. Yeah, he's a pretty strong player. I mean, it was just, I'm just sure he was distracted with work. He even made that comment in the chat window, so. Would have to guess that we're going to be cashing. Going to be cashing in the deuce to 7 here pretty quick. Yeah, so it'll be nice to get down to one table, so we've got a full lineup again. The full ring will be nice to get back to. Wazzy Beer is still up top, 27.41. Oh, Wazzy Beer is now second after that last hand is at 24.86. I am now number one, 26.85. Loopy Jen is in third with 22.20. Alrighty, so we are in the money in the deuce to 7, and I've got a 10-8, which I am potting and patting. Potting and patting and doubling up. So we're guaranteed a $1.10 in the deuce to 7 now. We've got a long way to go before we make any more money than a $1.10 in this one, though, because it's I think we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pot and pat. We're significantly stronger than we were last time. Might have gotten a bit more value if I'd raised a little less on that one. We're still playing Raz over here. Yes, we're still playing Raz over here, so I can nicely raise my A6-3. I think I'm padding here. Ended up with a 65. The best lane can be playing, obviously, is the nuts with his 5 deuce showing. More likely, he's playing a 75 of some sort. So I think we're raising here. Alrighty, so we're playing stud now. We got a nice club flush happening there. We're going to fold that one out under the gun. And with 2 kings showing, I don't think we're going to keep drawing to our flush here. I think we're just going to get rid of it. Sometimes we'd want to challenge and bring in there, but not with an ace against a 3. That's when the rest of our hand is so weak. He's probably calling us with a 3 there a lot of times. So, anyways, as I said, we're min cashing in the weekly round 2, but we got a long ways to go before we get any more money. It's it's like 250th or something like that before you get any more money. Bring in with deuce and probably nothing else there. Yeah, we're just going to fold out of that. Thank you very much, Jen. Very much appreciated. Don't think I need to get involved with stud with king 7-5 like that. 2 clubs is always a little attractive, having 2 suited cards, but 2's not really enough in stud. It's enough in other games, but in stud it's not really enough. You want 3. You really want all 3 of your starting cards in stud to be working for you. It is possible in Raz to have throwaway cards, but you really don't want to be looking at that in your first 3 cards in a stud game, stud high. Pair of 7s we backed into in the stud high here. Ace high, pair of 7s. I think we're definitely calling that. We're going to call through on this side as well and draw one of our 4s to the 85. We're going to fold the 87 over there for stud. Yes, we're discarding 1 here. 10-8, it's not a horrible place to be. I'm not hugely upset with that hand. It sort of worked out reasonably well. Wazzy Beer is pretty strong, and Wazzy Beer was strong through most of last week as well. Yeah, I don't blame you for not following the deuce to 7, Jen. It's hard. It's hard enough for me to stream both of them at the same time. I imagine following them is a bit rough. You'll hear my reports in chat though. I think I might have been thinking that hand was Raz that we were playing with the way that I bet that. Now that I look at it, that may have been a complete bluff against lane there, and in fact I may have been playing the wrong game when I took down that last hand. It's entirely possible. Although I think I was calling pre-flop because of the 3 hearts, but after that I think I was betting because it looked like a really good Raz hand. That strikes me as why I would have put a bet in there. You bet my jacks here. mean, my thought when she brings in for 100, she's probably playing a pair of threes at least. I think maybe she's rolled up, but funny, Rosalind. Yes, you will see soon enough. I suppose I don't have to tell anybody or show any of my cards here because you just need to go on the stream and see them in 3 minutes time and hear me talk about my silly thoughts. Yeah, we're getting out of the way over on this table. Lane takes down a pot. Into the high-low phase now. We're going to get rid of our Jack 10-6, I think, even with the 2 suits. Let Jen take that one down. Seven three deuce is the sort of hand you could play in a high-low. Or it's 7-3-8. I mean, but the 8-7 is pretty bad for the low end. So this is one I'm probably going to continue with. The 2 clubs and the 4-6. I'm happier playing this than a pair of 4s now. Pair of 7s with an ace-7. I'm going to jump in for a full bet there. Aha, we're down to 9 now, I believe. No, I lied. Yeah, we're down to 9. No, we were down to 9. Never mind. I'm just seeing things. Pair of jacks now. One has to think that Josh is on a pair of aces, maybe. That gives us 3 of a kind jacks, which is going to be a pretty good hand most of the time. And I got both of these guys all in, so. Wow, 3 queens up for Josh. Congrats on everybody making it to the final table. Ooh, and we get pretty lights as well. PokerStars is pulling out all the stops for our anything but Hold'em private games here, folks. Lights and fancy tables and everything. I don't know if they can afford the electric bill, though. Congrats to everybody who made it through to the final table. Sadly, Lane was our ninth place finisher. I am no longer up top. I am second now. Wazzy Beer is number one with 32.36. Loopy Jen still stable in third, 22.90. And Roz is our first exit from the final table, going out in 8th place. She came with the smallest stack, so had to do something pretty quickly. Good friend Ken Digicision is our low stack now, sitting in 7th place with 729 chips. Yeah, unlucky Roz. Uh, 875. I think I'm definitely going to play this one for a few chips. We're getting rid of this deuce to 7 hand. That is not helping our stud high low hand in any way, so I think we're probably not going to continue anymore. It's not even really contributing. If it had been a low card or it had been even close to our straight cards, we might have continued there, but getting out of the ace to, or the deuce to 7 hand as well. The pair of eights we could obviously play over here on the stud table, but we're not going to. It's just not really worth it in a high-low situation. Here, I think we're definitely going to put money in with this and throw away probably just our 8 if we have to go, but I think because we've been fairly quiet at this, we're going to get a lot of our raises through over on this deuce 7 table. I think I want to do no limit deuce to 7 single draw for our weekly challenge next week. Back into the no limit or to the limit hold'em phase now. Roz, I'll Twitter you the details. Don't set that up yet. I'll Twitter you the details once we're finished with this now, and we can get that sorted. Wazzy Beer are playing back at me, but I think I have to consider this a strong hand. I'm obviously not folding it. There's no reason to think that Wazzy's on a pair necessarily here. So check the flop. He raised me pre, check the flop, and then he's bet out to turn in the river. Could easily be an ace high. Could easily have hit an ace with an ace 9 or an ace 7 or something, but could easily be a king high as well. Hey, Waskley, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, Wabbit. Yeah, it was a hell of a bet, Wazzy. I damn near folded that. I damn near folded that river. So that was a good effort. That was a very good effort, buddy. This is the sort of hand that we probably want to get involved with pre-flop, I think, especially being on the button. So I think we're definitely going to go in for a raise here. I tend to know that Miss Gilly's relatively tight as well. And I know that she's going to fold hands most likely worse than 9 deuce. I think she's listening to the stream, so she'll hear that she was beat in that case. But obviously, it wasn't necessarily the strongest hand in the world, but it's also, still 10 jack suited is a fairly strong place to be on the raising on the button. That's right, I'm a nit bitch, Jen. So you gotta factor that into account when you're playing against me. But it was a good fold, Jen. Turned out to be the right fold too. Don't need to get involved with Jack 4, I don't think. Well, if you want to set it up now, do deuce to 7 single draw. But if you can ask them to put the name as anything but HoldEm weekly challenge, that would be awesome, Roz. Make it anything but HoldEm weekly challenge, and that'll be the name for all the ones that we do. If you want to add Elron 66 in as well, maybe anything but HoldEm a weekly challenge Elron 66 stream. That way everything is sort of covered. That's actually for the best. It's kind of a long name, but I don't think it matters how long the names are. Ooh, I should have. Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I think we're probably check folding our pair of deuces over here on the deuce to 7 board. Wow, I can't believe he didn't bet the 10-8. That's a hand I'd probably value at that point, I think, on the deuce to 7. Wazzy shows an ace king on the horse stream. Nice hand, Wazzy. Gonna raise my button again. King nine's a pretty strong hand, I think. So. Oh my God, Miss Gilly's at two final tables at once. For the record, Miss Gilly is no longer in the same room as me. We just because we were going to be playing in the same tournament on the same table. She is elsewhere in the house and is not streaming with me. So yeah, don't worry about her sniping the stream or sniping my live table and listening to me stream live. She is elsewhere in the house. Gonna fold the Jack 4 of clubs. I'm just going to fold Dwazi's under the gun bet there. King Queen's pretty strong, and I certainly could play it. We're absolutely going to play this pot over here, and we are going to play it like we're looking for value. Pot bet. Must admit, I did not plan that out, but having a pot bet behind actually works out really nicely here. Yes, Lane, we did play HoldEm here. You're right. All right, well, let's go with anything but HoldEm then and put around 66 stream in the description. Maybe with the Twitch address, twitch.tv/Ouron66 in the description as well. I've been sometimes using the abbreviation a capital A, small b, a capital H, capital E for anything but HoldEm, but I don't think that's necessarily descriptive enough either. Although we could certainly start calling it ABHE. Josh Bowman one's all in on the horse table over here. Given that we're in limit Omaha high-low, I think I have to call through, especially with Ken. I'm probably going to have to put Ken all in as well when he comes through. With Wazi all in as well, I think we definitely have to put Ken all in and everybody all in at this stage and see what happens. I'm pretty happy with that flop. Not thrilled with it, obviously, but happy with it. So we're 8-7, 4-3 deuce is what we're playing now. And we're pretty happy, I think, with that as a low. I don't think we're expecting much on high. Ooh, we didn't get anything on that pot. Wow. Well, I guess we're all in over on the deuce 7 table. And we're out. Wow, I'm not sure how we managed to survive that one. We're going to raise our ace 3, queen 9 as well. So we're down to 5 left on our horse table here. 3 are paying. So we've got to go down another couple of people before we go. We got $5 for first, $3 for second, $2 for third. Current standings, Fadian is sitting in first place at 59-17. I'm in second with 34-37. Lupijan in third with 32-20. She's been holding it down that third spot pretty much right from the start. That's a good idea, Jen. I think we'll have to do that. Yeah, I'll go for cookies too. I'm in for cookies. Oh, Miss Gilly busted out. Good game, Miss Gilly. Good game. That said, she is free to come back into the room with me where I'm streaming now if she wishes. So we're down to the bubble time. I think I've probably got to get rid of this now. Loopy Jen's turning on the, putting Ken all in. Ken takes half the pot, stays alive. Or Ken takes a quarter of the pot, I mean. Takes half the low. I think I have to put Ken in with this hand. I have to assume that I've got a better low draw than he does, and probably better, with the clubs. I think that's twice that Ken has been the bubble boy in my tournaments. He's not going to want to come back if we keep doing this to him. So we're into the money now. That's a pretty good flop for our hand. There's only the 4 ace and the 4 deuce that beats us, I think, at this point. think we're betting our low here, and we're not thrilled with our high, but I think if anybody had a wicked high or a wicked high draw, they would have raised us there, probably. Um, so I think I'm still going to put money in value-y here, especially being that I'm a third. I need to get chips if I want to take down this tournament. So lucky 8 on the river there. Into the Raz portion, that puts me up top, but we're pretty close here. There's not a lot between us, so yeah, it really could go either way here. It could be anybody's game. Jen is back in the room with me now since she is no longer in the tournament. However, I think she's still at her other final table, so it's on break. She's second. Well, this has actually turned into a much better low draw than we might have expected. But I still think we're not thrilled with putting money in. We actually could have put money in there, I guess, given the pot size. And I think the fact that nobody's betting, I think we're gonna and just assume that if anybody had a better hand than that, they would have put money in earlier. 96 isn't a horrible Raz hand anyways, so I'll just take all the chips. How's that? As Jason says, I'll just take all the chips and you can fold your cards. How's that?